welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're doing something a bit different, focusing specifically on employees of the North Rockland Central School District.
That's right.
We're pulling back the curtain on your 403B retirement choices. And here's something that might, well, genuinely surprise you.
Go on.
You might think you have just a few options, maybe, but North Rockland actually lists, believe it or not, 13 different 403B providers. 13.
Wow.
So the big question is, did you really do your homework before you signed up for yours?
That's such a critical point. A recent CNBC article actually highlighted this exact issue. Many educators, unfortunately, are making some really costly mistakes.
How so?
Well, school districts, they often don't have the resources or maybe the specific expertise to really dig into and vet all these different plans properly.
Okay.
In this situation, it kind of creates an open door for salespeople pushing proprietary products. These often come loaded with high fees, sometimes surrender charges too.
Right. Things people don't always see up front.
Exactly. Leaving educators kind of vulnerable to these hidden costs that can honestly really impact their retirement future quite significantly.
Okay, let's unpack this then. How much could these, well, seemingly small differences actually cost you, a North Rockland employee, over time? That's our mission today. Let's see the real impact.
Well, first off, fees are just, part of investing. You can't completely avoid them.
Sure.
But the crucial thing here is how much they vary. That's the key. And the good news, many of the higher fees can often be reduced quite a bit or sometimes avoided entirely if you know what you're looking for.
And here's where it gets really interesting. This really puts those fees into perspective. We're talking about maybe an extra 1%, perhaps 2% in annual fees. Sounds tiny, right?
It does on paper.
But over, say, 35 years, that tiny percentage isn't so tiny anymore. It can mean a difference of over $200,000 in your final retirement savings.
Absolutely. $200,000. That's life-changing money we're talking about.
It really is.
Think of it like a leaky faucet. One little drip doesn't seem like much.
Right.
But over years, that constant drip of fees, it just cuts directly into your annual rates of return, eroding your growth potential significantly.
So with 13 options and costs that aren't always, easy to spot, how can you possibly figure out the good from the bad providers? That seems like the million-dollar question here.
It is tough, but basically within North Rockland CSD's approved list, you're mainly looking at two types of investment products, mutual funds and annuities.
Okay, mutual funds and annuities.
Understanding the difference is key. When we looked at the provider list, some definitely fall into what we'd call a pass category, lower costs. Others, well, they're more of a fail due to, frankly, excessive fees.
All right, let's break that down. What's a pass?
Okay, so on the passes side, you've got low-cost mutual fund providers. A good example available to you is Aspire Financial Services.
Aspire.
These plans typically have no upfront sales charges, no commissions, no redemption fees if you need to move your money. And crucially, they often offer open architecture, meaning you get a wide choice of different low-cost investment options like no-load mutual funds. You're not paying a sales fee just to get in. Plus, their internal fund costs, the expense ratios are generally low. And very importantly, advisors working with these platforms are often held to a fiduciary standard.
Fiduciary standard.
Yeah.
That means they're legally required to act in your best interest,
Right.
Not just sell you something.
Precisely. That's the legal obligation. Your financial well-being comes first. Now, contrast that with the fail side.
Okay.
You've got high-cost mutual fund providers. Examples on your list might include Invesco Oppenheimer funds, the Legend Group, Security Benefit. These often involve sales commissions, sometimes called loads.
Loads, like a fee just to buy or sell.
Exactly. Could be upfront, could be deferred when you sell. You might also find redemption or surrender fees, plus these ongoing hidden charges like 12B1 fees, basically, marketing costs you end up paying.
Doesn't sound great.
And then there are the high-cost annuities. Providers like Ameriprise Financial, Equitable, MetLife, Corebridge Financial, Voya Financial fall into this category typically.
What's the issue with those?
Well, they often layer on high investment fund fees plus significant insurance-related fees, often called a mortality and expense fee or M&E fee.
M&E fee.
Yeah, it's an insurance cost inside the annuity that can seriously eat into your growth, especially if your main goal is just retirement saving, not some complex insurance need. And critically, the representatives selling these often are not held to that fiduciary standard.
Wow. Okay, so this raises a really important question then. Do you know if your advisor is held to a fiduciary standard, something everyone should check?
Absolutely essential to know.
So with all this complexity,
Yeah.
What does this all mean for you if you're a North Rockland CSD employee just trying to make sure you're on the right track for retirement? What can you actually do?
Okay, practical steps. First, start asking pointed questions. Ask about every fee in your plan. Ask what standard of care your advisor provides. Are they a fiduciary?
Good advice.
Definitely seek advice from professionals who are held to that fiduciary standard. And make it a habit. Review your plan regularly, especially if it's been more than a year since you last looked at it closely.
That makes sense. Now, if listening to this feels a bit maybe overwhelming.
Which it can be.
Right. We did find a group that actually specializes in helping K-12 employees like you navigate this exact kind of landscape.
Yes, that's Warwick Valley Financial Advisors. They're an independent advisory firm, and they really focus on K-12 retirement plans like the 403B.
And the fiduciary thing.
Yes, importantly, they are held to the fiduciary standard. They don't earn commissions from the specific products they recommend, which helps align their advice with your best interests. And they actually have a partnership agreement with Aspire, that low-cost provider we mentioned earlier, which is available right there on North Rockland CSD's approved list.
So a direct path to a lower-cost option, potentially.
Potentially, yes. And they offer something really helpful, a free, completely no-obligation consultation. They'll do a complimentary review of your current 403B.
No strings attached.
No strings attached. It's a great way to get a second opinion. You can reach them at 845-981-7300.
That's 845-981-7300 for a free 403B review from Warwick Valley Financial Advisors. Okay, let's sum this up.
Sounds good.
The core takeaway here seems clear. Understanding your 403B plan, especially the fees you're paying, and knowing the standard of care your advisor provides, whether they're a fiduciary, is absolutely crucial for protecting and growing your retirement savings.
Couldn't agree more.
So here's a final thought for you to consider. If it's been over a year since you last reviewed your plan, what new insights has this deep dive sparked for your next review? What questions will you ask?
Good questions to ponder.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.